Um, so like 10 years ago, I made little goldfish and I put them in little bags and they were so much fun. And I thought, wow, that's perfect for Felt on Earth because it's just this little clear bag. Although it helps to have a little rock in the bottom so they stand up straight. And so we're bringing to you some goldfish. And they are so fun to make. They're great for beginners. I'm gonna, when I do the tutorial, like really, explain everything as if you've never felted before. But even if you have felted for 10 years, they are so much fun to make. And we sat down, Sarah and the crew, and made all of these last week. Yeah, and we even have we're gonna have a little supply pack, a nice little size, like affordable little supply pack to go with them.
This is serious temptation here.
I know, there's fish everywhere.
All laid out.
I think there's even more. And and when you're bored, they fly really, really well.
Like little fish torpedoes.
Yes.
Little sushi,
here, hold that one for me.
Sushi on the go.
There you go. Yes. Oh my gosh, they're so much fun. So, you got anything to say? We're just going to get started. It's a fun project.
I love goldfish. They're the snack that stares back.
Stares back.
I thought you might have said something about catfish.
What's that?
We should get started.
Are we rolling?
We are. Wow, that took you like 12 seconds. All done.
Okay. There you go. Have fun with it. So this guy, I made a little flatter. I didn't give him the bug eyes. And then his fins come out of his little belly. They're all different ways. This guy's big un, big bug-eyed un, with a frowny face. This one, you can see him in there. He's built on half of a 22 gauge wire. It just makes him a little smaller than the pipe cleaner. Oh, and then this guy's extra fancy. I don't know what these are.
Extras.
Extra. He's extra. He's major. So anyway, they're super fun. Okay, we will get started. If you have never needle felted before, this is going to be very exciting. There's a lot of shapes that work really well for the goldfish that I'm going to use the Zuli tool for. If you don't have a Zuli tool, find a pencil or a wooden spoon handle and like just a small ruler can do the same thing. So your supply pack has core wool. This is chick yellow. And then it has a whole variety of pretty colors. Like a nice bundle with all these different oranges, yellows, golds, white, and black. And these are what we call top coat. So these are longer, straighter fibers. See how long those are? For finishing and putting color on top. Whereas the core wool is real fuzzy.
It's going to build up your meat.
Chunky. Yeah, makes your shapes. And then there's 3 pipe cleaners, which is what we're going to use to create the little armature, a very simple armature. So you find the center, and go ahead and give the center a pinch. And then 3 inches from that fold, you're going to twist, somewhere between 2.5 and 3 inches. So here's we've got inch marks on here. So yeah, that's about 2 3/4 inches. You're going to twist 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then take your little point here and hold it in the center and just open it up. So now you've made a square. And we do a square because when we wrap with wool, it's a lot easier to wrap a square than it is a circle or an oval because the wool has a place to go on each side. And then I like to, you can make these different lengths. Like you could make the top long. I like to fold the tip back so that it's not pointy at the end. And then you can make the bottom a little shorter by folding it in farther. That could be a look. Or you can make them the same length. I've done them all different ways. the first thing we want to do is, working with our core wool, take about a 3-inch piece. And when you rip this in half, you've got to get a little distance between your hands to pull it apart. It'll come apart. If you hold it really close together, you're not going to be able to pull it apart. So just a little distance between your hands. Split this in half lengthwise by making a hole in the center and pulling it apart. And then I just kind of smooth this out, stretch it out. And then you want to wrap both of these tail pieces. So I can start by going around the body right here. And when I wrap, whether it's an armature or a shape on a skewer or the Zoli tool, I pretend like this piece of wool is a ribbon that I want to keep flat and smooth around the wire. And I always keep this ribbon narrow, like don't let the ribbon, if you let the ribbon get really wide like this and you try to wrap, it becomes hard to control where you put it. So I keep it pulled together and narrow and tight, and my other hand follows the work, follows the wrap out so that everything stays put. If you're right-handed, I'm left-handed. When I get to the end on these, I actually just leave it fringy because that's the look we're going for. Then with a single needle, I'm just going to stab. I'm using a 38. So if you're right-handed, it's going to look like this. You're going to hold the armature in your left hand, and you're going to wrap with your right hand.
Try to wrap away from yourself, even though under you're coming towards yourself. When you go over, try to be going away from yourself. Lots of new people want to go towards themselves.
And then you can't get a good pull on it.
It just ends up way too loosey-goosey.
So
What do you call someone who's good at catching fish?
a fisher person.
A net.
A net. That's my kind of joke. That's funny. All right, I'm going to go back to left-handed so that my project does not look crappy. Okay, so now we want a longer piece because we're going to do a bigger wrap. So I'm going to take about 6 to 8 inches, and I'm going to split it lengthwise again. It just makes it more manageable. And then this is a figure 8 or an infinity. So I'm going over here and then I'm making a loop by going from this facet to this facet, and try not to try not to pull so hard that you pinch your pipe cleaner together. Now I'm crossing the center again and I'm going to the other side and crossing the center, going around, crossing the center, and going around. Is there any other better way that I can say that, Milo?
No, people
the
might want to watch it like 3 times.
Watch it like 3 times.
Pause,
I'll try
rewind.
to do it right-handed. Oh, this is going to be tricky for me. Go across, come around here, go across, come around here, and go across. This is the tool I'm using. It's the pink pen tool. I like to have 2 needles in it. Just makes the work go a little faster than using a single needle. But if you have a single needle, you just have to stab twice as much. So now we have a nice little fish shape ready to go.
Where do fish go to watch movies? I don't think you're going to like this one.
Cinema.
That's probably at the dive-in.
At the dive-in? That's funny. Alright, now we need his absolutely adorable belly. And I just can't make them fat enough. So, 2 3 to 4 inch pieces of core. I'm just going to stretch it out a little bit. And then if you don't have the Zuli tool, like I said, you could try to use a ruler, or you can just fold them in your hand. You're trying to make about an inch. Just like sprung to life. Trying to make about an inch wide fold. It wants to get wide, so it's a little tricky. So that's how you would do that. I'm going to stab this on, and then I'll show you one on the Zuli tool. So I'm stabbing around the edges, and I want it to stick, their little belly hangs down, so I want it to come down away from the wrapped armature. Let me do the one on the Zuli tool. So on the Zuli tool, I'm just going to wrap around one place. And this will be a little tighter than my shape that's folded in my hand. And for whatever reason, when they come off the tool, they keep the shape better.
What do goldfish see when they need an operation?
What do they see?
Well, yeah, who do they
Oh,
see?
who do they see? The sturgeon?
Yes, very good. You're on today.
Oh. Good.
I also found goldfish facts. Very interesting. I've never learned a thing about goldfish. Do you know what a group of goldfish is called?
It's not a school.
It's not.
What is it?
A troubling.
That's what Ferris would say. Okay. The two belly pieces are on. So they're on this lower quarter quadrant. Like they're not up here. You know, we still have top and front showing. The next piece we want to make is a little extra eye bulge right there. So we're going to take about a 3-inch piece and split it in half lengthwise. More like 2 maybe. 2-inch piece. 2-inch piece without fringe. That's the way I look at it. And then wrap this around the Zuli tool, just in the round side in one place. And I'm drafting it out just so that it stays smooth, so I get a nice smooth wrap. And I want to do that 2 times. And then these go right on each side of the head. And I like to put them with the fuzzy part. Well, it doesn't really matter what direction you put it. But when you stab it on, stab the 2 fuzzy ends of your wrap kind of in so that you get a nice round, kind of spherical shape versus a flat rectangular shape. So I'm really stabbing in at the sides. What colors are we going to make this one?
I don't know. So many options, and you kind of can't go wrong with them.
I know.
Did you hear about the fight in the kitchen?
No.
A fish got battered.
Oh my gosh.
There's a lot of fish and goldfish jokes on the internet.
Really?
Yes, it's very exciting.
Okay. Now he's got little eyeballs, little belly. Starting to look like something, maybe. So next we want to make what we call a ghost shape. And I'll show you on the, we do it on the felting surface. And one of them is going to be the lower lip, and the other 2 are going to be these like gills. So it's called a ghost shape because it looks like a little ghost. We lay our fiber out, and then I usually stab a center line, and then you stab a shape that once all the fluff is folded in, it looks like a little Pac-Man ghost. In this case, we're going to make a nice wide one. And I'll show you. So I'm going to use my, my yellow core. If I wanted to tint this with a color, like this guy has a more yellowy lip, I would take some of my top coat and just put it on here. This time I think I'm just going to work with, he's got a little yellow. I guess everybody has a little yellow. That's in this pile here. This guy I made with white. Instead of using yellow, I used the white. So I'm only going to make one goldfish for our, demonstration purposes, but I'm just trying to show you that there's so many possibilities. So we actually need to make 3 of these. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull 3 pieces. They're like kind of like 2-inch squares. 2 inches, 2 inches, and the fringe is pointing to the sides. So I stab a center line, and then I stab the ghost. And see how the top of the ghost is down from the top of my section, because I want to be able to fold that in. And then I fold in the sides along the lines of the shape that I stabbed. So this is getting a little pointy, so I'm going to stab it back in on itself to round it out. So that'll be his little mouth. Maybe for the gills, I will go ahead and put some top coat on so you guys can see how that works. I'm going to use this, this is called butternut. Just a super bright yellow. I'm concentrating it towards the top of the shape. When you put a pretty color on top, you have to flip it over, because now your pretty color is going to be on the pretty side of the shape on the back of it.
So you're folding that fiber over, just letting it all lay.
Yes, letting
That's
it all
kind of
lay.
a
Like,
little bit of a rookie mistake.
Don't roll it up, right? Now these we want to be felted pretty well, because the fringe is going to attach to the fish, but this part is going to stand off and be finished. Like, it's not going to get felted anymore. So we want to make sure that's pretty well established. And I've got something about the size of like a, bigger than a quarter. Like, my shape is about 1.5 inches wide. Whoops, I forgot to draw my ghost. Kind of exaggerate it so you can see it stabbed into
Can you
the
show
stab
the
it.
wrong way to fold fiber? Because I'm pretty sure someone out there still...
Like rolling it up like this. You kind of want it to, if this is a piece of paper that you're putting in an envelope, you want it to flop fully over. So the top's going to flop fully over. The sides are going to flop fully over. That's what makes a nice integrated piece. Also, when you're working on a shape that you are stabbing directly into your stab-it, you need to lift it off once in a while, because it will want to embed in there. And that kind of tires out your stab-it. Okie dokie. So where's my first one?
You could hit those with the punch tool, but you don't need
could
to.
hit those with the punch tool. The punch tool looks like this. And it has 5 needles, and it really just flattens things out fast. But see how I'm not doing back here, because I need that fringe to not be felted. So we're going to give him his little mouth. His little upside down mouth. Let's see, do we want to do gills first or mouth first? What did we decide? Let's do mouth first.
Yeah, I think mouth.
It just goes around the bottom here, and sticks up like a little frowny lip. So I start by felting the fringe on. And just travels back to wherever wherever it goes.
Do you know goldfish don't have tongues, but they have taste buds on their lips?
Ooh. That's why they're always sticking their lips out. Tasting the water. Now it looks like I don't even know what. Then the gills, I might pull a little bit of this core fuzz out of there. They want to go about 4 or 5 o'clock under the eyeball in front of the belly. And again, the fringe just goes over the eye, up the body, like wherever it goes. Fringe is your blender friend.
Yeah, it's best if it just does its thing. Don't try to overwork the fringe.
Yeah, don't try to like shove it in a
Make it in lines.
Yeah. You're just full of good felting tips today.
We've been working with some beginners.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yes.
Milo traveled out to California.
Right.
I'm not a world traveler, but someday.
Someday. Where do you want to go?
I don't know. Lots of places.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
But yes, you could see the mistakes new people were making.
Yeah. So now we have some decisions to make. We could put a little white eyeball. So let's do that. Sometimes I leave them yellow. Sometimes I make them white. This guy has a yellow eyeball. This guy has a little white. Oh no, he's got a yellow eyeball too. He's got a white eyeball. So to do the white, we want to take some of our white that's in our kit, which you have a ton of white. So like doing some fish with spots and white is really fun. And this is a lot, so probably, I don't know how to describe this amount. It's like 1/2 inch by 1 inch. You just roll it in your hand into a little pea. Like a little spring pea, petite pea. And then it gets stabbed onto the already existing eye bump. So now he's got like 2 eye bumps.
Yeah, too much white, you're going to have the biggest bulging eyeball ever.
Yeah, it's a pretty small amount of white. So it's bulging right now, but there's another step that's going to make it all make sense.
Why is the ocean blue?
I don't know why.
All the fish swim around and say bloop, bloop, bloop.
That is so bad. I'm coming around the edges because I want to keep it, I'm not like stabbing right in the middle because I want to keep it nice and round in this step. All right, now, oh my gosh, everything you ever felt is going to go through this like monster phase, monster embryo alien phase. Okay, we need to make 3, we call them double-decker tacos. One's going to be the lip, upper lip, and 2 are going to go around these great big eyeballs. What color should we make? White? No, I have white eyeballs.
Yeah, I like the pop of orange.
You like the pop of orange? Alright, so let's make a little mix. I'll show you how to mix something together. We've got pumpkin, and this is a sugar candy. It's a mix of merino and silk. And then let's do a little bit of this merino called yolk. To mix colors, you want to take them by the ends, pull it apart, and restack it. So I'm just holding the very ends, pulling it apart, and restack it.
It's important to maybe not use the merino silk mix alone. It won't, felt as well as you want it to.
Yeah.
Good to mix it with a little top coat.
It's good to mix what we gave you in here. It's good to mix them together. I'm going to put a little bit more pumpkin. Okay. Now, I want to split this in 3 sections. And I might remix them a little bit more. So you need a piece, it's about the length of the staple length, which is like as long as the fiber is, and about 3/4 of an inch to an inch wide. So this is actually even a little bit much, because when I set it down, it's really getting closer to about 1.5 inches. And then the double-decker taco goes like this. A regular taco is stab in the center, fold it in half. A double-decker taco is stabbed just north of the center, like about 1/3 of the way down. Fold that over. I have fishing line coming over here. I'm going to stab about, in this case, about 1/2 inch of area. I'm not sticking right on the edge here. I'm stabbing all over, and then fold that over and stab that 1/2 inch of area. So now what we have, the purpose of this shape is to have a nice, well-defined, somewhat significant rolled edge and fringe. And so this gives us our shape here, and the fringe gives us our blender. So in the case of the upper lip, we're going to have a yellow bottom lip and a orange upper lip. We're just going to take this shape and bring it around. They usually look a little frowny, so you can shape this how you want it. Let the fringe go back towards the eyes. Let this color come kind of wherever it wants. It's so funny when you make your color decisions. He looks really weird to me right now. But the next 2 pieces are going to go around the eyes, and that's really going to blend some things together. So do it again. Fold that down. Felt about 1/2 inch area. And then fold that up. This is a good shape for the punch tool. One more.
Where do goldfish keep their money? I think you could figure this one out.
Don't say that, because then I seem really stupid when I can't.
But you often do, which shows how smart you are.
But I'm also concentrating on making this precious shape. Something with a bank.
See? You're halfway there.
The sand bank?
That could be it. It's the riverbank, but could totally be you were there.
Are there goldfish in rivers?
No, probably not.
I think sandbanks, more likely. Where do you keep your money? In the sandbank. You heard it. Straight from the fish. Okay. This is a little tricky. We have to get this shape to go all the way around this eyeball. So I like to kind of start in the center, make sure I've got it centered. And then bring one side around, let the fringe come around with it. And then bring the other side around and let the fringe come around with it. You try to make it not really show that where they overlap, but it will a little bit. And then I shape this the way I want it, like it's a little poofy, so I'm stabbing at it a little bit. Gonna take some stabbing.
Here's a joke that I loved saying as a kid because I could get away with something.
Uh-oh.
What did the goldfish say when he swam into a wall?
Oh, what did you get away with saying? I don't know what.
Oh damn. And I was like, ooh.
That's funny. There we are with the goldfish in rivers again. I wonder if they are in rivers.
They're just in bowls at carnivals.
Oh, poor little baby.
Yeah, those are the ones that make it.
They don't get ate up by...
I've heard many a carnival fish living a long goldfish life.
Yes. Okay. Now we have eyes, gills, belly. Now is the fun fringy part. Well, we gotta finish our eyes. And keep stabbing.
Yeah, if you're trying to do this with a single needle, at least grab 2 needles.
Yeah. Yeah, you can grab 2 needles and hold them together. Like so. Alright, there's a little black in your kit, and so you want to just pull the tiniest bit and make a little black dot for the center of the eye. I think I'm going to put it like that, off center.
Oh my.
Like he's looking over his shoulder. He's like, what's coming? He's worried.
He's worried now. So does the other side have to also be
What does the other
back
side
or
do?
forward?
Maybe it's forward. This is uncharted territory.
Uncharted waters?
Yes. Usually I fold this into a shape first, and I didn't. I just winged it.
He is. That's a good one.
So funny.
Single needle's a better job for that.
It just lets you get where you need to be. The double needle kind of like can just like
Too
sort of
much.
jar it too much. Yeah, but
Oh,
funny.
yeah.
Okay. Now, are we ready for like the fringy bits? Am I forgetting something?
Well, you did a little belly coverage, if I
Oh,
recall.
belly coverage. Thank you. We want to kind of lose this split here and bring all this together. So the butternut's nice because it matches his gills in this case. Oh, should we do white? Let's do white. I'm making a crazy... So the white, I can pull a nice broad piece and just go right across the belly. I should have given him a white. And just let the fringe come up each side. I kind of put it behind the gills. This is going to be one crazy looking fish. But that's the idea. Make sure you round out his nice little round belly.
What do you call a fish with a necktie? This one's pretty bad too.
It's going to make me groan. I don't know what.
Sophisticated.
What do we want to do here to transition the white to the yellow? I could make that orange and make it distinct, or I could take some yellow and go like that. I would have put this yellow on that lip shape when I made it.
It's good though. It's a nice little blend to the white too with that fringe.
Fringe is your blender friend. I'll probably do a little more there, but... Oh, I love his little worried face. Okay, let's see. Let's go orange here. Well, we'll do kind of like this guy. We'll go orange on top, white fins. So to make some little side fins, you just take some wool, this case, we're going to use white, but you could use a mix of your other oranges, and make it the size that you want your fin to be. So in this case, I'm going with about 1 inch, and then leave the fringe, like I've been leaving these kind of fringy. I'm not like folding a shape. I'm just letting the fringe be the fin. It's a very Zen, Bruce Lee kind of thing to do. Let the fiber be the fin.
If you hit it with the punch tool a tiny bit, it does stay together without
Stays together
pulling
really
apart.
well. Mm-hmm.
Just in case someone's manhandling the sculpture. Want them to rip their little fins apart.
Little cats. Oh my gosh, it's so funny how these fly through the air like torpedoes. Like there's a whole nother thing there. We're gonna have to come up with some sort of game that you play with them.
Oh, yeah.
Or Nick could juggle them.
Yeah, they would be good. That would be good.
So the fin just goes on the side of the belly with the fringe coming up. This little one, I put the little tiny little fins coming out of the middle of the belly, just a different look. Like look at Goldfish pictures. Like it'll give you a lot of ideas of how they are and what kind of shapes they make. Okay, now that I have the little side fins on, I want to go with my top. So I have some orange left from my mix. I'm going to add a little bit of the butternut to it, maybe a little bit of gold. Just got like a slightly different color going on here.
There are so many kinds of goldfish when you do the...
I know, they're so cool. There's the poofy eye ones, big belly ones, there's the flat ones. I like the big belly poofy eyed ones.
I did read in my facts, all type of goldfish are the same species.
Really?
Which apparently is...
So they could have babies?
Yeah, probably.
Then this goes like this, and sort of how wide you want it, where you want it, how tall you want it. That's all little decisions. But I think I want this to be kind of like a, not super blendy. So I got a little bit of that on that side, and now I got to put a little bit on this side. How are we doing on time? I feel like this is taking. I think I'm explaining.
You're
a lot.
explaining a lot more, yes.
Yeah.
We're at about 35 minutes.
Oh, it's not so bad. Let's let some of the fringe go towards the eye here, and some come.
If you felt it a lot before, this can be a pretty quick project.
This is like a 20-minute project. It's really fun. And then you can decide, like, do you cut this or just leave it, leave it wacky or what? Oh my gosh, his eyes are cracking me up. Still want this a little tighter. It's good to put a tiny little white dot in their eye. I forgot to do that. So it's like a teeny tiny bit of white. I just roll it in my fingers. And then this is a good job for the 40 twist needle. And just stab that little white dot into the black. I don't know if fish actually have white dot eyes, but it always makes them look a little more alive.
Have you ever had fish?
What do you mean?
Have you ever had
As a
goldfish?
pet?
Not a joke. Yeah.
No. Have you?
It's actually a little joke. Once I owned... I once owned one, and I learned he could break dance on the carpet for like 20 seconds.
See, I like the nasty, mean joke the best. What's that mean about me? I'm like, now that's funny.
The other day when I was researching and I was laughing in the other room, that's why.
Oh my gosh.
Look, he can break dance for about 30 seconds.
I made a little colored. I didn't like the way how stripey that was.
If you're a fish lover out there,
Sorry.
that's offensive. Sorry. It's kind of funny.
Okay. On the tail, you could do, let's do yellow in the center. I'm getting all tricky with I'm doing a little trickier coloring because I'm only making one and I want you to see.
See the possibilities.
Yes, the possibilities. So I just mixed two yellows together. Let me put a little bit of this one in there.
They're very cute, even with real basic coloring.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, you can make one all white. You can make one all orange, all yellow. Yeah, this guy's all pretty much all yellow. Oh my gosh. Who made this one?
I
That's
feel
so
like
funny.
that was...
Talbot's?
I think so.
So I'm going to put the yellow on the middle. So on the tail, you just take the fiber and you fold it over that wrapped wire and felt it down. The wire is like the holder. And then I'm going to do, I was going to do a little yellow on the bottom, but I think I'll just do orange. Then you can decide, like, do you want to felt this whole thing together? Do you want to leave them in two pieces? This one, like, I felt it all together. This is a fun step. You can do whatever you want. I'm taking a little of the sugar candies, a little orange, mixing them together. I'm going to put this over the tail closer to the fish. This.
Goldfish fact. Goldfish can distinguish between different faces. What I want to know is, how do the scientists know? Does a goldfish get excited when it sees, like the food giver?
Yes. They clap. Alright, and I'm taking the rest of this orange. I'm going to put it over the bottom one. Because I made this bottom one shorter. When I keep these two tail pieces the same length, I would probably do the same treatment on both sides. But since I made this all short, I'm just going to do this orange on it. It's a little tricky. And then I would stab this a little bit more if I weren't filming. I would stab all that a little bit more. And then I want to put a little bit of white on the tips because I think that's sweet.
What's stranger than seeing a catfish?
You do have a lot of jokes.
I do.
Stranger than seeing a catfish, a
cat-
dogfish.
A catfish. Seeing a goldfish bowl.
I like that one too.
See, I could not keep them in.
That's so funny.
When we film for longer and there's not as many jokes, there's a lot of quiet time.
I know. How's he looking there?
Amazing.
From up there.
Amazing.
A little bit of that. Like I said, I would do this a little bit slower and better. This one I'm going to stab together a little bit. This is a good job for the punch tool.
A lot of like dad jokes in here.
Oh yeah.
Why are goldfish so easy to weigh?
I don't know why.
Because they bring their own scales.
He done. Ish. Fish.
So cute.
He thinks so.
So any last words of wisdom?
Have fun. Have fun blending colors. Words of wisdom. Oh, so to hang them in the little bag, like this, your fishing line, isn't that funny that you use fishing line? Goes down through the top, back up through the bottom, like kind of in the same place, and then like find their center. If you do it up here, he's going to tip back, probably more like in the fin is centered. And then tie that off, leaving one end really long. And then you can hang them up or put them in the.
Can you bring the bag back? I
Yes.
was zoomed. I didn't quite.
Okay. Here's the bag.
So you said rocks.
Rocks in the bottom help it stand up.
Would those amazing ocean fiber art locks do the
Oh
trick?
my gosh, they would look really good. I don't know if they're heavy enough, but because it's
Okay.
pretty top heavy with him being at the top and the raffia being at the top.
Okay.
And it'll last like this for about a day.
Well, you
And
don't
then-
want to leave a goldfish in a bag longer than that. They only have a couple of hours, if I recall. Have fun.
Thank you.